Have you ever stopped to wonder, do you really know the person behind the smile, behind the eyes sitting across from you? In today's world, where everyone wears a mask, it is difficult to see the truth beneath the surface. Some smile brightly while carrying deep insecurity inside. Some speak with confidence, but beneath their words lies emptiness and self-doubt. Jung reminded us, if you only look at appearances, you will always be deceived. A person's true character is not revealed in polished words, but in the small moments where the ego has no time to hide. Someone may act with perfect courtesy toward a boss or a person of influence, but how do they treat a waiter, a stranger, or someone who has nothing to offer them? That is the real measure. Humility and compassion are revealed most clearly when no one is watching. Arrogance and contempt emerge the same way. Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you say." And that is the heart of the matter. Do not be seduced by sweet words. Watch instead the patterns of behavior in daily life. True character is not formed in grand gestures, but in the way a person behaves in the smallest details. It is those very details that reveal who they are when the spotlight is gone. Another sign of character is how someone keeps their word. A promise may seem small, but it is a bridge between inner values and outer action. When someone repeatedly says one thing and does another, it reflects a fracture within. But when a person honors even the simplest commitments, "I'll call you back," or "I'll be there on time," their consistency reveals maturity and reliability. No one is perfect, of course, but the difference lies in how one responds when a promise cannot be kept. A mature soul will explain honestly, take responsibility, and seek to make it right. The avoidant, however, will invent excuses, blame circumstances, or shift fault onto others. Jung would say that it is in such moments when faced with one's own failures that true character is revealed. Those who can look into their own shadow grow stronger. Those who cannot will repeat the cycle endlessly. Think back. Has someone ever made a promise to you only to disappear without explanation? That silence leaves a deeper wound than you may realize. And on the other side, a promise kept, no matter how small, can build a trust that endures for years. This is why Jung regarded integrity as the foundation of character. How someone reacts to criticism is also a mirror of their ego. The immature often respond with anger, defensiveness, or by belittling others to cover their own hurt. This is the mark of a fragile self unwilling to face its own shadow. By contrast, those with inner strength can listen, discern, and even thank the critic because they see an opportunity for growth. This does not mean they agree with every opinion, but that they do not let raw emotion drown out wisdom. Jung emphasized that the shadow is not the enemy. Criticism, if received with awareness, can become a light shining upon the wounded places within us. A person of courage will use the moment of critique as a mirror for self-observation. Why am I angry? What fear has this touched inside me? In asking such questions, they are already walking the path of inner freedom. And in daily life, you can see this truth clearly. A colleague who can take feedback gracefully becomes someone others trust and want to collaborate with. Meanwhile, the one who lashes out at every critique slowly finds themselves isolated, not because of lack of ability, but because of an ego left unhealed. This is why Jung regarded our reaction to criticism as one of the key indicators of psychological maturity. Another sign, often overlooked yet deeply important, is how a person faces loneliness. A fragile ego will do everything possible to fill the emptiness. They rush into meaningless conversations, seek constant attention on social media, or cannot bear an evening alone with themselves. They fear silence, because in silence the inner shadow rises and demands to be faced. By contrast, a soul that has done inner work can sit quietly with itself without fear. Jung saw this as a true sign of maturity, the ability not only to endure, but to even value solitude. For only in those moments does one hear the deeper voice connect with the unconscious and discover inner strength. You can see this clearly in life around you. Some people only feel safe when surrounded by a crowd, while others radiate calm even when sitting alone in a cafe. This is not coldness nor withdrawal, but the art of presence with oneself. And this, according to Jung, is the foundation of individuation, the path toward becoming whole rather than an ego that survives on outside approval. The way a person deals with their mistakes also reveals character. Some, when they err, immediately blame circumstances, others, or try to conceal the truth. They are afraid because deep down, the shadow of shame and inadequacy has never been accepted. Jung would say this is the ego's attempt to escape responsibility, clinging to a false image of perfection. Yet there are others who choose to face their mistakes. They admit them, apologize sincerely, and seek to make amends. Not perfection, but honesty. In taking responsibility, they show a capacity to integrate the conscious and unconscious. Mistakes cease to be punishments and become lessons. This is the mark of psychological maturity, an ego no longer ruled by fear. Think of your own experience when a friend has been wrong and says, "I'm sorry, let me fix it." You feel relief and trust grow stronger. But when someone always avoids excuses or attacks in return, a wall formed between you. Character Jung reminds us does not reveal itself in grand moments, but in how a person handles small mistakes of daily life. And in the end, all these signs, how one keeps promises, reacts to criticism, endures solitude, or faces mistakes, point to one truth. True character is never in what people say, but in how they live the small details of their everyday lives. Jung stressed it simply: you are what you do, not what you say. A person may act well before a crowd, but they cannot hide their essence in the ordinary moments. How they speak to a waiter, how they keep a small promise, how they act when wounded. These are the clearest mirrors of the inner self. For in the moments without stage lights, the shadow steps forward. More important still, instead of only observing others, turn the gaze inward. Do you truly respect those who can offer you nothing? Do you keep promises that seem small? Do you take responsibility for your mistakes? Or do you hide them? These are the questions that open the door to real growth. For character is not the mask we construct to impress the world. It is the trace we leave in the hearts of others through countless small acts each day. And this is the truest measure of the soul's development. Jung's reminder is, in truth, very simple. Character is not found in grand declarations, but in the unnoticed gestures, how we keep our word, how we respond to failure, how we treat those who cannot benefit us. All these, sooner or later, paint the most honest portrait of who we are. And when we dare to look directly at such moments, we not only see others more clearly, we understand ourselves more deeply. If these reflections have made you pause, take it as a sign you are already walking the path of self-discovery. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that each week we can continue this dialogue together, exploring the shadow, uncovering the essence, and learning to transform small choices into great steps toward inner growth. This will be a space where you can listen and be listened to, and where you may find resonance on the journey Jung once called the path to becoming whole.